Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE as the road to WrestleMania continues. We are over halfway there. This is Monday, week 3, March 2022. 2 more episodes to go until we get to the proper showcase of the awards, the 2-night extravaganza spectacular that is WrestleMania 38. But first, of course, we have 2 more weeks of action to get through, so let's start on this one. Of course, kicking off things, as usual, with Monday Night Raw, which gets underway with Kayla Braxton interviewing Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in the, just behind the curtains before you go out. And, you know, she's talking about how on Friday, Charlotte's going to beat Naomi, give a preview what's going to happen come WrestleMania when her and Flair win the women's tag team titles. But for tonight, Becky Lynch is in action here against Carmella. Now, you know, she would have happily fought and beat Nia Jax, but Nia Jax is too scared to face her anyway, but that's fine. You know, Nia Jax probably just mess up and end up busting her nose open again, so that's fine. I'll go out and I'll fight Carmella, and I'll beat Carmella, and Charlotte will beat Naomi, and at WrestleMania, we will become women's tag team champs in 89. Very good promo from Becky Lynch before she goes out for her match against Carmella, which gets an 83. Yeah, really good match. Becky Lynch wins with a pump handle slam for the 83. Very happy. 89 Lynch, 61 Carmella. Yeah, good match. No issues with this. Good starts of things. As then out comes Matt Riddle. He does not. After the match, Lynch and Flair, there is issues. They get their arm raised. Lynch gets her arm raised by the ref and by Flair, and then they're jumped from behind by Naomi and Nia Jax of the Bloodline. The Bloodline attacking Lynch and Flair, their WrestleMania challengers, and leaving him laid out before quickly going up the ramp before they can get up, raising their titles, claiming victory here for the 90. Yeah, still good starts of things here, good pre-post, good match in between, 90 for that. I'm happy. As then out comes Matt Riddle, talks about Goldberg. He says last week he issued the challenge to Goldberg, one more match, WrestleMania, and Goldberg turned him down, and he's disappointed because, you know, Riddle says that he's talked a lot of stuff about Goldberg, about wanting to face Goldberg. And at the end of the day, that's because as a kid, growing up, watching wrestling, WCW, WWE, Goldberg was this superhero, this beyond human entity, this unstoppable, unbeatable force. And he admired Goldberg. He looked up to Goldberg. And the thought of getting in the ring with one of his heroes was just, it was a great thought. And Goldberg doesn't want to do that. Okay, he'll move on. He'll find something else. But he will always be disappointed he never got this shot. As he's interrupted by the Celtic Warriors, the Raw Tag Team Champs. You know, Sheamus coming out talking about, oh, you're going to cry, you big baby. And Riddle saying, bro, shouldn't you be worrying about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Didn't they beat both you guys last few weeks? And Sheamus and Drew saying that, no. We're not focusing on those idiots. Not those losers. They don't deserve a shot at us. But you know what I am focusing on right now, Riddle? I'm focusing on beating your crybaby ass for an 89. As next up, we will have Matt Riddle taking on Sheamus one-on-one here. And after some interference and a little distraction from Owens and Zayn, Riddle picks up the victory of the Bro Mission for an 83. Good match. 79 Riddle, 71 Sheamus. Yeah, the Celtic Warriors saying they don't care about Owens and Zayn. Owens and Zayn don't deserve a shot, but Owens and Zayn getting involved here and costing Sheamus the match potentially. A good match nonetheless though. As then we go backstage to Kayla Braxton interviewing Aleister Black. Kayla Braxton asking Aleister Black first of all about Tommaso Ciampa last week, issuing a challenge to Aleister Black for a match at WrestleMania for the Hardcore title. And Aleister says that he heard Ciampa's challenge and he does not accept. He says he has other WrestleMania plans that do not involve Tommaso Ciampa or the Hardcore title, and he's focusing on those right now. And that starts off tonight in the main event, Aleister Black versus Edge. Edge, a legend, a Hall of Famer. And Aleister Black looking to make a name for himself on Monday nights. And he hears Edge say that this will be no challenge, that this will be a showcase for Edge to show what real wrestling is. But at the end of that showcase, all that will happen for Edge is he will fade to black for a 96. Really good promo from Aleister Black, as you'd expect, to be honest. As then, we have the return of Johnny Gargano, the Intercontinental Champion, back from injury, comes out to the ring and says, "Did you miss me?" The crowd cheering. Gargano saying he missed you, saying that he missed everyone too, and he's glad to be back. With WrestleMania weeks away, the Intercontinental Champion, he is ready for a fight. And so he's put out the challenge. Whoever wants some, come get some. WrestleMania Intercontinental Championship. Gargano says he wants to put on a showcase. He wants to put on a spectacle. And so that's exactly what he's going to do. So he announces at WrestleMania he will defend the Intercontinental Championship in an open challenge ladder match. Anyone who wants a shot at the Intercontinental title can come in an Intercontinental Championship ladder match. And Gargano asks if anyone wants a shot, then to come down and ask for one. First of all, Daniel Bryan come down, says he wants this fight with Gargano. He wanted it weeks ago and he wants it still. WrestleMania ladder match, singles match, it doesn't matter. Bryan wants Gargano. Montez Ford coming out saying this is his year. This is still his year. It's not got off to the best start. This is his year, his moment at WrestleMania, his opportunity. Followed by Jeff Hardy coming out saying he wants one more WrestleMania moment. And why not? With that Intercontinental Championship he's won so many times. Then you got The Miz coming out saying that he is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time and he is ready to add another championship reign to his long list of accolades. As then finally The Miz is interrupted by Frederick Fairchild, staking his own claim, saying that The Miz is not the man for this job. No, the fabulous Frederick Fairchild is the man to win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. And Gargano saying that if these guys want it, WrestleMania ladder match, they can have it. Before he raises the Intercontinental title up, Gargano issuing the challenge. Plenty of challenges for his title in what will hopefully be a good match. I mean, I'm a big fan of a big ladder match at WrestleMania. Used to be Money in the Bank, but the Intercontinental title seems like a great showcase for it, as well as WrestleMania 31 and 32 have shown in the past. 89 for that, really good segment. As then next up we have a match advertised last week. Bobby Lashley of the Hurt Business taking on Pete Dunne. Essentially the winner will represent Raw on Battle of the Brands. Maverick asking Dunne, a bit and ahhing about it. MVP suggesting Lashley upon hearing that the winner will get a championship match of their choosing. Lashley versus Dunne, the winner representing Raw in Battle of the Brands in the end. Your winner and the man representing Raw, representing Drake Maverick at the Battle of the Brands triple threat match at WrestleMania, is Pete Dunne, managing in the end to roll up Lashley and pick up the victory. MVP can't believe it, Lashley can't believe it, Pete Dunne gets the win for an 82. Good match, 82 Dunne, 72 Lashley, happy with this. Pete Dunne will represent Raw at Battle of the Brands after the match. A very happy and excited Maverick gets in the ring and raises Pete Dunne's arm. As Pete Dunne looks Pete Dunne, whatever. But Maverick very happy at this for an 86. Pete Dunne will represent Raw in Battle of the Brands. Who will represent NXT and SmackDown? We will have to wait to find out. But for now, next up, we have a special little segment. We have Prime Target, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Now, I love those Prime Target NXT things they did. So, we're just going to do one here on Raw. It shows Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. It has little backstage interviews with them. It goes over their feud, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly from the Undisputed Era days, from the Indies to the Undisputed Era days in NXT, to coming up on SmackDown, to going over to Raw. Adam Cole constantly on top, and then Kyle O'Reilly starting to build up, US Champion, King of the Ring fight, all of that. And then Kyle O'Reilly's big moment at Royal Rumble, and then Kyle's decision. And they both talk about the same things they've been saying. Adam Cole saying Kyle O'Reilly did this, saying Kyle O'Reilly will fade into obscurity after WrestleMania when he's defeated by Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly saying this is his moment. Saying that Adam has never fully accepted or understood, or maybe he did, but he was afraid of it. Maybe he wanted to ignore it, but he never acknowledged how good I am. He says that I'm not, but I know Kyle O'Reilly is WWE Champion material, and I proved that at WrestleMania. Shows them both doing some training, Kyle with Bobby, Adam with his own personal team. Kyle kind of bringing it back to the indies, just him and Bobby in a gym working out, Adam in a much fancier gym, a whole team of people with him. Good Prime Target. I love the Prime Target. So we do one here for a 100. Good little segment, hyping up this match for WrestleMania. As next up is, what is it? We go backstage to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn talking to Caleb Braxton about earlier tonight, saying that if the Co-Warriors want to underestimate them, then fine, but it will be their own downfall because they're not giving in, they're not giving up, they're still coming for them, they're still coming for those Raw Tag Team. And then McIntyre and Sheamus storming into him, Sheamus with a bro kick to Owens, Zayn caught unaware as McIntyre flies in with a Claymore, and then Sheamus and Drew McIntyre beating them down as well, before standing tall. The Celtic Warriors taking out some frustration here with this brutal assault of Owens and Zayn for another 100, another brilliant segment. Like I've been saying, on this road to WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, they've all been full steam ahead, nothing but bangers, which we love to see, as it's time for the main event, which should hopefully be another banger. On one side we have Aleister Black, and on the other we have the Hall of Famer Edge. Angel Garza coming to ringside to watch as Edge says that he'll give Angel Garza a lesson in real wrestling, and Black and Edge just go at it. An incredible matchup, as you'd expect from the two men, honestly. As, in the end, Edge setting up for a spear on Black, but then noticing Garza and rolling out the ring and going up to Garza, saying, "You watching this? You watching some real wrestling now, kid?" Garza and Edge kind of fronting each other up, not attacking each other or anything. The referee eventually rolling out to intervene. Obviously, the two men can't attack each other. That's what they've been told. If they attack each other, their match is off at WrestleMania, and neither man wants that. The referee getting involved, kind of separating them, holding Garza back from Edge, as in the ring, Aleister Black to his feet, unaware, as from behind, the Hardcore Champion Tommaso Ciampa smashes the Hardcore title into the back of Aleister Black's head, laying him out. Ciampa kneeling down, holding the title, and waving that little wave at Aleister Black. Aleister Black said that Ciampa wasn't on his mind, and Ciampa doesn't seem too happy about Black turning down his challenge now, as Edge rolls back into the ring, sets up for the spear again. Aleister Black eventually, even more dazed after that title shot to the back of the head, getting up and getting speared as Edge claims the victory for an 87. Really good main event here. Edge picking up the win following that interference from Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black. 83 Aleister Black, 87 Edge. Really happy with this, as Edge does pick up the victory on the road to WrestleMania. And Ciampa sends a clear message here, really, that he's not going to take no for an answer too kindly from Aleister Black, is he? As we then end the show with the Women's World Championship contract signing, Io Shirai, the challenger, coming out, and Sasha Banks, the Women's World Champ, coming out. Same things they've been saying the last few weeks, really. Sasha Banks doing most of the talking, saying she is the blueprint, the best and the boss. She is the pinnacle. She is the head of not just Raw's women's division, not just WWE's women's division, WWE in general, wrestling in general. She puts the star into WWE superstar. She is wrestling. Io Shirai is great, but Io Shirai can't go with Sasha Banks, and Sasha's so disappointed for the fans. She knows they've been waiting for this match for so long. And it sucks for them that it's going to be so one-sided, because at WrestleMania, the boss stays the Women's World Champ when Sasha Banks beats Io Shirai. And Io Shirai just signing the contract. And watching Sasha sign it too. And Io saying, at WrestleMania, I beat you. Before leaving. And Sasha Banks, honestly seeming more rattled than anyone on the mic has rattled her. Because Io Shirai seems to just not be paying attention to Banks' mind games, to Banks' words, to her trash talk. And Io Shirai seems focused on one thing, and that is becoming Women's World Champ at WrestleMania in what will hopefully be an incredible match, which could easily steal the entire WrestleMania weekend, honestly. Banks and Shirai, so many matches could do. It'll be interesting to see what is match of the weekend. This gets an 93, great contract signing segment, really good show overall, I think. Gets a rating of 93, brilliant. Road to WrestleMania stays banging, increased up in 50 regions. I'm very happy. I hope you are too. I hope you're enjoying things as we hopefully continue this build up to WrestleMania with another banger next up, as we have another episode of NXT. And NXT gets underway here with Timothy Thatcher storming down to the ring. And he says he can't wait any longer, so he tells Regal to get his ass out here. Thatcher been very antagonistic to Regal his entire time in NXT, really. And setting his sight on the general manager. Now Regal said next week he'll come out. He'll face Thatcher. Thatcher in the ring waiting for a 60. Regal comes out And Regal says he's been waiting for this moment. He says, Thatcher, you've been a pain in my ass for too damn long, and you need to be dealt with and handled. And so I called in a favor because, Thatcher, you're not going to be facing me. Before the debuting Ridge Holland comes out, the Yorkshire Brawler walks onto the stage, looks at Regal, the two men nod at each other before Ridge Holland storms down to the ring, and him and Thatcher brawl it out. Eventually, Ridge Holland getting the upper hand and Thatcher fleeing the ring and leaving through the crowd, very, very angry at this turn of events for 47. Okay start to the show. Ridge Holland's popularity quite low, so he has to build it up, but making his debut here tonight. Before we kick off things in ring wise with a match between one half of the Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions Santos Escobar and Trey Griffin. Last week the Mysterios and Trey Griffin beat Legado. Mysterios announced they'll fight Legado for the tag titles at Mania. Trey Griffin looking to get another shot on Andrade. He's beat Carrion. Can he beat Santos Escobar here tonight? In the end, he does. With a quick roll-up, Trey Griffin gets the win over Santos Escobar for a 72. Good match. 73 Escobar, 57 Griffin. Happy with this as the Mysterios watch on. Trey Griffin, he's beat Carrion, he's beat Escobar. When it comes to it, can he beat Andrade and finally win that Cruiserweight Championship? 72, a good match for that. As then we go backstage to Dakota Kai, going to Tegan Nox, and her guy, says her and Tegan obviously have a lot of history, and she just, she wants to thank Tegan for helping her last week, stopping the attack from James and Gonzalez. And Tegan says that, Raquel has been a menace. Dakota brought Raquel into this place, so she's partly responsible, but Raquel needs to be stopped, however that may be. And later tonight, Nox says, wishes Kai luck. Later tonight is Kai versus Nox, the winner, fighting Raquel Gonzalez at WrestleMania for that women's NXT Women's Championship. 67. Decent backstage segment here, as then a video package plays focusing on these four men who will be in action tonight. Damian Priest, the Demon Finn Balor, the Fiend, and Karrion Kross. A massive tag team main event. Priest and Balor versus the Fiend and Kross. Four monsters going to war tonight in the main event of NXT. Focusing on all of them. How do you even describe it? The darkness all four men radiates. How we got here, Priest's fights with the Demon, Priest eliminating the Fiend, his battles with Kross, all intertwining and interconnecting, heading here tonight on NXT. 100 for that brilliant segment, as you'd expect, to be honest, between these four guys. Before, with a fatal four-way match, next up, it is AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One, taking on Austin Theory, taking on Carmelo Hayes, taking on Ethan Page, in a match where the winner will represent NXT at WrestleMania in Battle of the Brands. AJ Styles he's been asking Regal about it. He wants to represent NXT on Grandest Stage and all, show why he is the Phenomenal One. Can he earn his shot? Hayes and Page have had their little feud. Hayes joined by DFG at ringside. Page joined by #trending. Austin Theory here as well, looking to prove himself after defeating Thatcher last week, looking to get another winner, get a shot at earning his WrestleMania moment. In the end, the DFG and #trending men's at ringside kind of gets into it a bit. Anthony Ogogo stepping up to Grayson Waller when out of nowhere from behind, Logan Paul appears and smashes Anthony Ogogo in the back of the head, taking down the Olympic medalist. A massive brawl breaking out as it kind of provides a little bit of distraction. And in the end, it's Carmelo Hayes who comes out on top, hitting Ethan Page with that top rope leg drop for the victory for a 67. Good match, as it will be Carmelo Hayes representing NXT at WrestleMania and Battle of the Brands. So at the moment, from Raw we have Pete Dunne, and from NXT we have Carmelo Hayes. Only SmackDown's participants are fine for that Battle of the Brands matchup, as it is Carmelo Hayes gets the win, as the #trending and DFG stuff continue as well. Logan Paul taking down Anthony Ogogo. Another massive brawl breaking out. These two groups cannot be separated, it seems, as then we go backstage to an interview with the Velveteen Dream with Dexter Lumis. And Velveteen Dream, following his actions last week, attacking Isaiah Swerve Scott, taking North American title, still holding it, saying that he is done with Isaiah, saying that the Dream is tired of Isaiah stealing the spotlight because the spotlight belongs to the Dream. The spotlight was only ever near Isaiah Swerve Scott because the Dream allowed it so, but there is no more free spotlights allowed. on NXT. The spotlight is firmly on the Velveteen Dream, holding this NXT North American Championship that is rightfully his. And if Isaiah has a problem with that, well, he can try and step to the Dream, but... And then the Dream looks back at Dexter Lumis before looking at the camera again, saying, I don't think he'd enjoy that. For an 83, good segment. Velveteen Dream done with Isaiah Swerve Scott, and you think Isaiah Swerve Scott probably won't take too kindly to Dream's words and actions here. As next up, we have that NXT Women's Championship #1 Contenders match between Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. Nox, the former champ, Kai looking for revenge on Raquel Gonzalez, her former partner. Kai and Nox, former best friends. Kai turning on Nox. That's how Raquel Gonzalez eventually showed up. All of these storylines interconnected. And in the end, the woman who will fight Raquel Gonzalez at WrestleMania for that NXT Women's Championship is Dakota Kai, hitting the chiropractor on Tegan Nox for the win for 75. Good match. Happy with this. 59 Kai, 75 Nox. Good match. As it will be Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai, the former partners at WrestleMania for the NXT Women's Championship. After the match, Dakota Kai helping Tegan Nox to her feet, and the two women shake hands before Nox leaves the ring. You know, let Dakota Kai enjoy her moment, earning that spot at WrestleMania when Dakota Kai is attacked by Raquel Gonzalez, storming into Kai just like last week and beating down on her. Tegan Nox noticing this and storming back to the ring and, you know, getting Raquel Gonzalez out of there, hitting her with a drop kick, phasing her. Raquel going for Nox, but Nox pulling down the rope, Raquel out of the ring. Tegan Nox making the save here for Dakota Kai. For an 85, good match, good post segment, happy with this. Another big match set for Mania between Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. As then we go backstage to William Regal's office and he makes some big announcements. He announces at WrestleMania 2 big matches have now been signed, sealed and set. First of all, it will be Timothy Thatcher versus Ridge Holland. He says Timothy Thatcher's got a problem with him. Well, Regal says he's called in a favour, he's called in a friend, and Ridge Holland will be making his debut at WrestleMania to fight Thatcher. And he also announces a huge blockbuster match is all but confirmed. He says the paperwork is still being sorted, but he can officially announce that at WrestleMania, it will be Destined for Greatness's Anthony Ogogo taking on Logan Paul, who says he will be accompanied by #trending in a match that will be contested under boxing rules. A finish will be decided on points or by knockout. Two massive announcements when AJ Styles storms in to Williams Regal's office and he is not happy. He says that he earned the right to represent NXT. He took all of Regal's challenges, and then what? Just because he lost in a fatal 4-way match where he wasn't even pinned, he doesn't get the opportunity to represent NXT, and Regal says he's sorry, but that's just how it is, sunshine. You didn't win, so you won't represent NXT at WrestleMania without the Brands and AJ Styles. Not happy, says to Regal that he's going to regret this. For a 92, good segment. Two big matches announced for Mania. AJ Styles not happy about not representing NXT at Battle of the Brands. What does he mean when he says Regal will regret it? We'll have to wait and find out, but good segment, show continuing really well as it's time for the main event. That big tag team match between the Demon Finn Balor and Damian Priest taking on Kross and the Fiend. Two very unlikely teams, and in the end, their unlikeliness shows as another mass brawl breaks out and the match just ends in chaos. For a 79, no winner, a draw really between these two teams. 92 Fiend, 82 Kross, 86 Balor, 75 Priest. Happy with this. As, yeah, massive brawl breaking out, and in the end, the music of Abyss hits. Abyss brought in by AJ Styles last month, and he shows out and he says that he's seen these four people and he sees the anger and the darkness in all of them, and he says that there's only one way to settle this. He says it will be WrestleMania. He says it will be Damian Priest versus the Demon Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross versus the Fiend, and in a match full of monsters, there's only one way to settle it. It will be in a Monsters Ball match. Big announcement from Abyss here. A Monsters Ball match, the first in the history of WWE at WrestleMania between these four monsters for a 99. Great match, great segment. Very, very happy with this. As to end the show, first of all, out comes the NXT Championship #1 contender Randy Orton, and he calls Chad Gable to come out. Gable does, and Orton apologizes to Gable about last week. He says he didn't mean to hit that RKO on him. They won the match, but he wanted to apologize for hitting the RKO on Gable by mistake. And Gable just says, "What the hell?" And Orton kind of taken aback, and Gable saying that, "You want to apologize. You want to apologize. Randy Orton, the Viper, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton wants to apologize. What the hell is this? Randy, I look up to you. Randy Orton, one of the greatest of all time. 14-time world champion, one of the best to ever do it. The Randy Orton I need to beat at WrestleMania to prove I can go. But that's not this Randy Orton. Because you see, the Randy Orton I need to beat at WrestleMania is the Randy Orton that's the Apex Predator, the Viper, the Legend Killer, the 14-time world champion, the greatest of all time. If I beat that Randy Orton, it means something. It proves that I belong here. But if I beat this Randy Orton, which, trust me, I will, this Randy Orton that's been here that couldn't beat Karrion Kross twice, the Randy Orton that hits me with an RKO and then apologizes, if I beat this pathetic excuse for a Randy Orton, then it won't be worth a damn thing. And Orton's still kind of taken aback, and Gable saying that, I need the real Randy Orton to show up. I need the real Randy Orton right now, the Randy Orton who would hit me with an RKO without a moment's hesitation, because it would get him one step closer to being champion again. I need that Randy Orton. And Orton saying that, is that what you want, Chad? And Chad saying, yeah. Is that what you want? Yeah. And then Gable slapping Orton across the face, and Orton kind of doesn't react. And then Gable shoving Orton, and Orton's still not reacting. And Gable going to punch Orton, and Orton ducking underneath before laying Gable out with an RKO. And then Randy Orton getting down to Gable and grabbing the mic and saying that, if that's what you want, Chad, then that's what you'll get. But just be aware that when that Randy Orton shows up, when the Legend Killer, the Apex Predator, the Viper, the 14-time world champion, the greatest of all time, Randy Orton shows up on the grandest stage of them all with a championship on the line, that Randy Orton leaves with it. Before dropping the mic and leaving the ring, Randy Orton leaving that laid out Chad Gable in the ring for a 96. Brilliant end segment. Gable calling out Orton on him the last few months, saying he hasn't been the real Orton, saying he needs the real Orton, and perhaps the real Orton has showed up here for that 96. Brilliant end segment. As this feud hots up, all the feuds hot up on another great episode of NXT, I think here. Overall rating of 88. Good show, you know, the match is maybe letting it down a little bit, but not too bad. Some brilliant segments, all you need really. As the road to WrestleMania continues, more matches being finalised, more matches being set, more matches hotting up and heating up. The road to WrestleMania is going beautifully, and hopefully it can continue going very, very well. Next up, with the final show of the week here, yes, it's time for another episode of Smackdown. And Smackdown gets underway with the tag team match between the United States Champion Xavier Woods and Mustafa Ali taking on Big E and Kofi Kingston, where of course if Xavier Woods wins he can pick his WrestleMania opponent, but if Kofi and Big E win, then at WrestleMania they will both challenge Xavier Woods for the United States title in a triple threat match, and in the end Big E and Kofi Kingston do pick up the win, hitting Mustafa Ali with the midnight hour for a 78. Good match, good opening to the show here. 85 E, 76 for Woods, 76 Kingston, 46 Ali. Happy with this. As it is official, it is confirmed. After Xavier Woods is shocked whilst Big E and Kofi celebrate. They get their arm raised because at WrestleMania, it will be Xavier Woods versus Big E versus Kofi Kingston for the United States Championship. Yes, the New Day triple threat on the grandest stage of them all for a 91. Really good post-match segment as well. Good match, good post-match, and a massive match set for the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. As then, next up, we have a match between Mia Yim taking on Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott turning on Liv Morgan a few weeks back, and then last week saying how she's cut off the dead weight and she's ready to stand on her own 2 feet. And she starts that off with a victory here over Mia Yim, using the ropes for leverage for her pinfall. A little bit of cheating from Ruby Riott to come out on top over Mia Yim for a 63. 59 Riott, 46 Yim. Good match, happy with this. As after the match, Mia Yim, telling the official that Ruby Riott was cheating. Ruby Riott attacking Mia Yim from behind, beating her down here, showing her dominance over Mia Yim, I guess, after beating her. When the music of Liv Morgan hits, Liv Morgan storms down to the ring, rushing down. Ruby Riott goes to hit her, but Liv Morgan ducking underneath and hitting Ruby Riott instead, beating her. Ruby Riott fleeing the ring whilst Liv Morgan stands still for a 68. Liv Morgan is back and she set her sights immediately onto Ruby Riott after Ruby Riott turned on her a few weeks back. Then we go backstage to Kayla Braxton interviewing SmackDown's general manager Paige. Paige talking about WrestleMania, shaping up to be a really good show. We've got the night 1 main event between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler here from SmackDown. We've got Bullard versus Keith Lee as well, and a bunch of more matches to be confirmed. Paige looking forward to it. Kayla asking Paige about Battle of the Brand. She says Raw's confirmed their superstar in Pete Dunne. NXT's confirmed theirs in Carmelo Hayes. Who will you be choosing to represent you to represent Friday Night SmackDown? And Paige says that actually, it's funny Kayla mentioning, because earlier today she got a very interesting phone call about Battle of the Brands, and she's got to sort some stuff out, but if it comes off like it looks like it will, then she says SmackDown will be set for Battle of the Brands. What could Paige mean by that? We will have to wait and see. A 64 for that though. Good little backstage segment. Good little backstage segment from Paige here. As then next up we have Bianca Belair taking on Chelsea Green. Belair's victory so far meant Aaliyah, Lana and Frankie Monet are banned from ringside. All there's left is Chelsea Green. If Belair wins, then Deonna will be without any of her friends at WrestleMania. And in the end, that will be the case, because Bianca Belair hits Chelsea Green with a KOD and picks up the victory for a 56. Good match here. 57 Belair, 34 Green. Happy with this, as Bianca Belair gets the victory, and Bianca Belair does confirm that at WrestleMania, her match with Deonna Purrazzo for that $1 million championship, there will be none of Deonna's friends at ringside. It will just be one-on-one Belair Purrazzo for that $1 million title. Good match. Belair ready for WrestleMania. As then we have a little talk show segment. We have Late Night with LA Knight. LA Knight making his way down to the ring. The ring all set up for him. You got a chair, you got a couch, you got a nice neon sign. Late Night with LA Knight, and he says, "Let me talk to you. Tonight is a special edition of Late Night with LA Knight, the most must-see late night show in the history of sports entertainment, and I am here today with a very, very special guest for all of you. Yes, LA Knight for the Late Night with LA Knight debut has got an exclusive interview with the one, the only, the 16-time world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, my special guest for tonight, John Cena." And John Cena does come out to the ring. Him and LA Knight kind of standoffish with each other. LA Knight telling John to take a seat and taking a seat as well. LA Knight, welcoming John to the show, saying that John Cena, the 16-time world champion, one of the greatest of all time. So busy now, though, between Hollywood and all that. Made a few special appearances of late, though. Appeared at Armageddon and lost. Appeared at the Royal Rumble, of course, and lost. Actually got eliminated by, L.A. Knight. Then come the Chamber. Well, Cena lost again. John Cena, one of the greatest of all time, and the only thing you seem great at the moment is losing, John. John's saying that, he's been away. He came back, and the quality of competitors in the WWE is ever growing. So, again, toe-to-toe with these guys, with Roman Reigns, with Keith Lee, with even LA Knight. All fantastic competitors, all going to push John Cena to his limit, but he's 16-time world champion for a reason. He doesn't give up. He does not give in. And he will not stop. And one thing he also never does is back down from a challenge, because last week he heard LA Knight's challenge. WrestleMania, LA Knight versus John Cena. And, well, LA, like I always say, you want some Come get some. You want me at WrestleMania? You got me. Crowd going crazy. LA Knight standing up saying, there you go, folks. A late night with LA Knight exclusive. WrestleMania 38. LA Knight versus John Cena 1-on-1. Oh, you want to go get your tickets right now for that, folks, because this is going to be the last time you get to see John Cena in this ring, because after LA Knight embarrasses him, after LA Knight lays him out and comes out victorious, he ain't showing his face around here again. You hear me? Yeah. And LA Knight and John Cena standing up and going face to face, and like extending his hand for a handshake, and John Cena accepting the two men shaking hands. A little show of respect here, almost, for a 100. That is, very swiftly removed, shall we say, when John Cena is smashed in the back by Alfonso Bourbon with a crutch, holding his back, going forward into LA Knight. LA Knight holding him, or pushing him back into Torres and Grimes, beating down on Cena. Cena trying to fight them off, and doing okay there when LA Knight comes in from behind and smashes the Late Night with LA Knight neon sign into Cena's back. It breaking, Cena going down hard as LA Knight tells him to get him up. Torres and Grimes lifting John Cena up. LA Knight looking him in the eye and telling him this is LA Knight's show. This is LA Knight's time, for grabbing him and hitting him with a BFT onto the mat. And then LA Knight turns John Cena over so he's lying on his back, and he just places his foot on top of Cena's chest whilst he raises his arm for a 79. Really great segments. The talk show, the post, LA Knight versus John Cena set for WrestleMania. WrestleMania gets more and more stacked by the minute. As afterwards, we have a match announced last week. It is one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Naomi of the Bloodline, taking on one half of her challengers for WrestleMania, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Becky Lynch at ringside, of course. And in the end, Nia Jax going for Lynch, Lynch taking down Nia Jax. You know, whilst Naomi slides out the ring and hits Lynch from behind before getting in the ring. Lynch going after her in the ring. The referee a bit distracted, Charlotte a bit distracted, and allowing Naomi, she runs forward, pushes Charlotte into Becky Lynch, and then rolls her up for the victory. Naomi coming out on top over Charlotte Flair here after a bit of miscommunication. Naomi and Nia Jax keep saying Charlotte and Becky won't be able to coexist at Mania. Could they be right? 82 for this, as Naomi comes out on top. 80 Flair, 74 Naomi. Happy with this. After the match, Naomi and Nia Jax celebrate whilst Flair and Lynch argue a little bit. Can they really coexist? You know, in the past they've gone back and forth between friends and that, but can they? They're shown maybe there's already cracks 2 weeks before Mania. 100 for the post. Really good post-match segment there. As then we have two backstage sit-down interviews. Michael Cole with Keith Lee and with Thaddeus Willard. First of all, Keith Lee, Michael talking to Keith about it. Keith saying that starting his WWE journey last year at WrestleMania with AJ Styles winning the Defiant Internet Championship and then winning the North American title again and holding that. But he always did feel he was limitless, his potential, and this is his chance. Ever since he came to Smackdown, he's set his sights higher, the Universal Championship. That's what he wants. He tried for Armageddon and he couldn't get there. He tried for the Rumble, he couldn't get there. But then come Elimination Chamber, Keith Lee ran the gauntlet and he came out on top. He came out #1 contender at WrestleMania 38. He finally gets his opportunity. Keith Lee for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. And he is ready for a symphony of 100,000 plus in attendance to be singing the words "Bask in His Glory" as he raises the Universal Championship high above his head, because Keith Lee's moment is now. The time is now. It is finally time for Keith Lee to reach that limitless potential. Whilst then Michael Cole's with Thaddeus Willard and Paul Heyman, and Bullard saying that as Universal Champion, as the face of WWE, he feels he put his best foot forward. Even before he was Universal Champion, all this charity work, all the foundations, all the Make-A-Wishes. WWE needed someone, they sent him, because they knew they could trust him. But they never trusted him to be a champion. let alone a world champion. So he took it upon himself. And look at him now. Undefeated. Undisputed. 1 year as Intercontinental Champion. And now the Universal Champion. Thaddeus Bullard. WrestleMania World Champion. Last year I retired The Undertaker. And this year I retired the dreams of Keith Lee. Very opposite ends of the spectrum. Undertaker at the end of his career. Keith, you could say at the start of his, but it doesn't matter because I'm just at the start of mine. Titus O'Neil was here for a long time, but Thaddeus Bullard's been here for less than 2 years, and in that time he has been dominant, and he has been unstoppable. And I'm not stopping now, because at WrestleMania 38, I exit how I enter the... Paul, you want to take this one? And then Paul Heyman says, certainly. You're reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, Thaddeus Bullard. For a 100, really good segment. You know, Michael Cole, very good with these type of segments. And Bullard and Keith Lee and Paul Heyman all very good as well. So yeah, 100 for that, really good. Keeping this show going really well. As it's now time for the main event. As announced last week, on one side we have the team of Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe. Been rivals somewhat recently, but uniting against a common enemy here in the form of the Smackdown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. And in the end, Reed and Joe maybe work together better than anyone thought they could, as they come close to winning. But then, of course, Roman Reigns storming into the ring, attacking Samoa Joe as Jimmy and Jay join in as well. A 90 for the match. Brilliant match, by the way, I must say. 83 Jey Uso, 79 Jimmy, 79 Reed, and 73 Samoa Joe. Very, very good match. As, yeah, the Usos, Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns, they beat down on Joe. Reed gets in, but they attack him as well. And then Reigns tells the Usos to hold him up. They hold up Samoa Joe. Reigns in the corner, setting up for the spear. When, of course, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's music hits, and the Usos dropping Samoa Joe. Reigns instructing them and Jacob Fatu to the ramp, where The Rock enters and The Rock storming down to the ring. The Usos and Jacob Fatu leave the ring and meet him on the ramp, but The Rock taking them all out, hitting Jacob Fatu with a rock bottom, and then storming into the ring. Roman Reigns and The Rock standing across from each other, and then just piling into each other, brawling it out here. And in the end, The Rock managing to hit Roman Reigns with a rock bottom. He sets up for the people's elbow, but Jimmy and Jay manage to get in the ring and pull Roman Reigns out before it can connect. As the segment ends, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Jacob Fatu going up the ramp as Bronson Reed, Samoa Joe, and The Rock look on from the ring. A 100 for that. Brilliant segment, as usual, from these guys. Very happy as these views move towards WrestleMania. Before we have the final segment of the night, we just have the Women's Universal Championship contract signing to end things here. Ronda Rousey, the champ. Shayna Baszler, the champ. Ronda Rousey, the challenger. Shayna saying that Ronda's done this to himself. They were friends. They could have dominated this company together. The 4 horsewomen of MMA together. Ronda didn't want that. Ronda's made a mistake, and at WrestleMania, Ronda's going to regret it when Shayna Baszler destroys the illusion of Ronda Rousey. Because people remember Ronda Rousey, yeah, a UFC legend, but Shayna knows the truth. Shayna knows that she's better than Ronda Rousey, and at WrestleMania, I prove it when I make Ronda Rousey tap out. And Ronda saying that Shayna can pretend she's tough, to try to be menacing, but she's not scared of her. She has seen Shayna, every shade of her, every version of her. She knows Shayna, and she knows Shayna knows her. Every single move either could make, the other knows. But at WrestleMania, the baddest woman on the planet becomes the baddest woman in the universe when she gets that Women's Universal title. Both sign the contracts. And, security in the ring before it can come to blows, because 2 MMA stars, Paige getting adequately ready for that contract signing. A 100 for that. Good ending to the show. Amazing show, I think. Overall rating, probably in the 90s. 93. Brilliant. Great matches, great segments. WrestleMania getting more and more full up. Increased up in 35 regions. I'm very happy. And I hope you are too. Leave a comment down below. Only 1 episode left until we get to WrestleMania. which is crazy to think, to be honest. But leave a comment down below. What are you most looking forward to at WrestleMania? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. As we get closer and closer to WrestleMania, you will not want to miss a thing in the next episode, the Go Home Show heading into WrestleMania. Yeah, so subscribe to see when that video is out. And as always, I do want to say thank you for watching.